Is there such a thing as too much luck? Is there such a thing as too much fun? Messing around, wondering how it's taken so long. I'm really so strong. It's not too much at all.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Too Much. This week's really fun because I met our guest on the street and we started gabbing about travel and music. And then I uncovered what a brilliant mogul Philip B is. Welcome, Philip B.
Thanks, Denise. You had the Hong Kong bag.
My little touristy Hong Kong bag that I never buy touristy things, but it was so cute. And I bought so many little.
I had to comment, and that's how we met.
This is why fashion can.
I work in Hong Kong, so when I saw that and I saw that cutesy bag, she's a global citizen.
I am a global citizen, and we love fashion. Let me tell you about Philip B. Go to the Church of Philip B now. I'm in the cult of your products.
Thanks.
One of the most in-demand hair and scalp treatment experts in the world. Philip B is known for his pioneering botanical blends, starting with his 4-step hair and scalp treatment. After its launch in 1991, American Vogue promptly celebrated it as giving you soft, supple, shining, spread across the pillow hair. Simple, instant gratification. Philip B's products are priceless. Forbes magazine named the treatment as one of the 100 things worth every penny. I can attest to this. Today, Philip continues to innovate. His products are sold in 35 countries. Isn't it more than that?
Yeah, it's more than that. Actually, we're close to 50 countries now.
That's what I thought. His products are sold in.
Because you know what? You can't keep a good thing down, and everyone keeps calling from all over the world wanting to carry the brand in their exclusive stores and salons. And oh my God, it's just, I have to tell you, since Vogue wrote about me back in 93, every woman in America called my one phone line, and my phone company said when I called them saying, "You've got to help me, my phone's blowing up." And they said, "You're averaging 500 calls an hour. What are you doing at your house?" And I said, "I came out in Vogue and it just won't stop." I said, "Please make it stop." Anyway, I couldn't use my phone, and we didn't, that was 93. Did we have a cell phone? They were like this big back then.
They're perfect.
Yeah. I have more lives than a cat. Yeah. There's a lot of chapters to talk about. And life's very interesting. It's the journey of life is super interesting. And as you know.
Yeah. So let's start at the very beginning. What drew you to hair in the first place? Why did you feel like hair was a part of your purpose?
I reflected on that question. I really asked myself how I got into this, and it came to me. And you want to know what it was? When I was a small child, I went into psychotherapy just for the hell of it to check in on myself. And my psychotherapist was so incredible. And she said hardwiring goes into place between 0 and 3. And by 0 and 5, you're hardwired in. And I thought, wow, that explains everything. Because when I was born, every Thursday, my mother took me to a hair salon. And I used to stand there, and she was in wash and sets. This is wash and sets. I'm not going to lie about my age because I look good. If I didn't look good, I'd lie about it. It was the mid 60s. So imagine I was born in 1964, 65, 66, 67. Every Thursday I was in that hair salon. And I remember standing there tugging on my mom's clothing going, "When can we leave? When can we leave?" And the ladies, they were all gabbing under the dryer, with magazines and talking to each other. And I was so bored. And they said, this assistant came over and said, "Would you like to sort the rollers?" And I said, "How do you do that?" And so she took me by the hand, sat me in a chair, gave me a tray of like a mess of rollers, all different colors. And she goes, "Put the yellow and the blue and the green and the red and the purple and the pink." And I said, "I can do that." So I said, so I started sorting rollers. And while I was doing it, I was watching them all doing wash and sets and teasing and rolling. And I was watching it all. And hardwiring was going in. It's always a passive experience. So I would go home and I didn't have dolls. I had G.I. Joes, but my sister had dolls. So I grabbed those dolls and I played with their hair. And sometimes I cut them, and she got so upset at me. She smashed my Matchbox cars with a hammer to get back at me for cutting the doll's hair. Everything was crazy. So my whole life I was chasing the cat and the dog, and fell down the stairs chasing the cat to give it a haircut, broke my arm. Everything seems to have been like hair intertwined in my life. And so when I was 14. I was cutting my own hair at 12 and 13 and cutting friends and cutting my brother and my mom. I just kind of grew up just playing with hair. And everyone always said to me, "Oh, you're going to be a hairdresser." And I would be like, "What? Are you crazy? I want to be a banker." And I didn't realize that, it was so ingrained in me.
Right.
It was so natural for me. And also cutting hair for me was so easy and so pleasant. And so it's almost meditative. I really zone out when I'm working on hair. I go into a zone. It's very calming.
You're tapping so many things, but we so often overlook our zone of genius because it feels too easy.
Or not valuable enough. For me, hairdressing was really like please, who dreams of that? You dream about being an astronaut. You dream about being a banker. You don't dream about being a mailman or a hairdresser. Those are things that happen in life because it was meant to be.
Right.
Eventually, I gave into the meant to be because it was truly my happy place. And so what? It's great doing here. It's actually one of the 10 happiest occupations in the UK. And they surveyed and they found you get to make your own schedule, listen to your own music, you're creative. No two people are the same. So you're like an artist and you're bringing joy to people.
So much.
God, I brought in such joy for so many people. Literally, I made people cry with what I could do with tears of joy. Not only that, I moved on to such higher ground than the aesthetics of cuts and colors because I got into treatment and I got into scalp treatments and I got into treatment of psoriasis and dandruff. And I helped millions of people globally with these problems. And I'm super successful at it. And I could clear and descale a scalp in under an hour. And I'm talking severe psoriatic scalp issues. These people who literally cry themselves to sleep and go crazy. They said it affects their self-esteem. I just helped a 12-year-old boy. His mother wrote to me on TikTok. She sent me a video of his scalp in Latvia. And I told her what to do and what to make at home in her kitchen and what to apply, how to apply it. And I just walked her through the steps. And she sent me another video after with the scalp clear. And she said, "It's not as good as you, but it's pretty great. I thank you so much." From 9 to 12, he suffered. We felt helpless.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We're healers. Hairdressers heal the soul. But when you get into the science of the skin and the hair, I learned how to heal the hair. And then I got into healing the scalp.
Okay, but let's talk
And that's
about the journey from like you were doing hair, then you were like, let me expand my education. How did you even begin to delve
Right.
into the science and figure out how to make products? Those are two different
Right.
things.
Not really. Every hairdresser goes to school to get a license. And everyone gets this book that's that thick that is called the Book of Cosmetology. And in that book is the science of your body, of your scalp, of your hair. And every morning in theory class, we had to read a chapter. Each one of us would go around reading chapters. And my argument with the entire class is this is fascinating information, the science. And they would all go, "Oh, no, I'm an artist, not a scientist. I don't care about that." And I said, "Don't you understand that you're working with caustic chemicals, ammonia and peroxide? If you get it into someone's eye, you can blind them. And do you also realize that if you leave it on too long, bleach, you will melt the hair off their head, literally. And you can also rupture the hair follicle and cause permanent damage to a person." I said, "If you don't understand the science of hair, scalp, and skin," I said, you're screwed." So I took all of that to heart. And then I went into color classes because cutting to me was such a joy. It was so innate. I needed to learn about the balancing of color and how to shift color. And then through that science, the one thing when I got great at color, the problem is the hair changed texture from the damage. And every woman said to me, as soon as I started coloring my hair changed texture and I can never get it back. And that's when I started on that journey, which was how to restore the hair back to its youthful, vibrant, effervescent self, bouncing, gorgeous, moving, grooving, everything that a woman loves to have when she's young, but she loses through aging. And also understanding hair through aging. That's another thing that we should talk about is why does hair turn gray? What happens to the hair when it turns gray? It's really interesting.
You know that I talk to my hair, so I keep away the grays because I say, "Oh, I just love you. You're so beautiful." And I'm telling you, it works.
Hey, I'll tell you something positive reinforcement. Nothing like a good mantra to get your day going and to get your day growing.
Yeah, goodbye, grays.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about
Well,
you start tinkering with products and the science of it all. How did you develop formula? Your first little formula?
every hairdresser, every client that comes to us, I always say it's not the client that doesn't have the problem that loves me. Yeah, she loves me for what I can do. client that has the problem really loves me because I solve their problems. So every client sits in our chair and they'll say something to us like, "Oh, I couldn't sleep all night. My scalp was itching. Do you have anything for me?" Or my son's 12 years old and he's in school and he has flaky scalp and the kids beat him up. Or my husband kept me up all night because he's itching and going crazy. Or my best friend has flakes all over their clothes. Do you have anything you recommend? So we all depend on these corporations to take care of us. So we go down to our shelf in our salon or over to it, and we go through and try to pick out the ones that seem to be the ones that are going to do it. The only problem is they never did it. None of them. None of them. So I went on this journey and I went around the world working on movie sets and traveling, and I love to travel. I traveled the entire world over and over again. But in the very beginning, I went to Switzerland, I went to France, and I hit apothecary, and I went from pharmacy to pharmacy to pharmacy looking for solutions. And you know what I found? More of the same, soap and water and fragrance. And did they have more clinical lines? Sure, but it wasn't amazing. And then when I got back to Beverly Hills, I went to my favorite pharmacist, little Shauna, and I said, "Shauna, I said, you treat the biggest movie stars in the world for dandruff and psoriasis with medical prescription products. Show me what you're using." So we went in the back room and she says, this one uses this one, I mean, these names are legendary, uses this one, that. And I said, I'm seeing a lot of coal tar and zinc, but I'm not seeing any botanicals that inhibit the yeast, which causes dandruff. And she said, yeah, she said, there are no botanicals in pharmacy. She goes, that's where you come in. And I said, thanks. I needed to hear that. So I went home and I took a piece of paper. I took a pen and a piece of paper. And I remember my conversations with God. You ask yourself a question out loud and you answer it out loud. And what I did was I said, what is dandruff? And I took this pen and I put it to the paper and I said, it's a yeast infection of the scalp. And what inhibits yeast? Tea tree oil, juniper, sage. So I started writing it all down. What was coming out. I was saying it out loud, writing it, scribbling it down. And I said, what's an anti-inflammatory, Philip? And then I said to him, calendula, chamomile, aloe vera. Perfect. Great. And then I created a formula. And then I took traditional medicines of coal tar and zinc that you find in drugstores, and I literally combined these botanicals. But first I had to look at everything, all the science of the botanicals to understand what's the percentage of threshold. Because tea tree oil, we all think, it's natural. Is it natural? Is it natural? Yeah, but hemlock's natural and it will kill you. You know, the cyanide in apple seeds, hello, don't eat the seeds. It's like, natural is not always great. So you have to understand nature is this balancing act. And there's also a threshold. And tea tree oil, which we all know, melaleuca, is 0.75% per dose on the skin is all you need. I found out after 0.75%, because I was pouring it on, what happens is your immune system, it triggers the immune system with this irritation. It starts to flare the skin with irritation. But sometimes it's so mild you don't notice it, but it's happening. And you're weakening your barrier as well. And your skin's a giant immune organ, and it speaks to the immune system. And that's when I started realizing that we need to keep our immune system in proper balance. This was my linchpin to this whole thing. When I was an assistant, I was shampooing hair. Now, do you have highlights in your hair, Denise?
I do.
You do. So, okay. You would come to me and my boss would say, can you shampoo Denise and condition her and towel her dry, comb her out, sit her in my chair, comb her out, and I'll be right there. And I said, sure. So I took Denise to the chair and I laid you back comfortably, put your legs up, wet your hair, wet it with water, got the temperature just right. Put the shampoo on, scrubbed it into your scalp, and wreck that lather through your ends because that hair doesn't sweat. It doesn't sweat when you run. It doesn't bleed when you cut it. It's a dead byproduct of the body. Don't burn it out. But that scalp, that's where the party is. If you had a disco, the scalp's the disco, and the hair is just there. Okay? So the scalp is where the cells are turning over. The sebaceous glands are producing, the sweat glands are producing, the sebum, the sweat, the cells. And this is the big misconception. People just don't know. There's no handbook for dummies on taking care of your hair and scalp, which I want to write that, by the way, because I'm quite frustrated with society and what social media has done to the brain to tell people to pour essential oils on their scalp or to not shampoo. This is horrifying. So anyway, we can get into that. Yeah, I shampooed you. I conditioned you. Your hair turned to silk. Ooh la la. Felt so good. Ran my fingers through it. I took this comb combed it through like butter, hot knife to butter right through your
Got
hair.
the props on the
Beautiful.
ready. I love it.
Please, please. I do too. Then I thought to myself when I combed the conditioner through, this is going to be so easy. I'm going to take her to the chair and I'm going to comb out Denise, and my boss will be so. I'm just going to do it so fast. I'm going to look great. This is my beginning of my whole assisting career. It's just a teenager. Anyway, let me tell you what happened at 15 years old, girl. I rinsed that conditioner out of Denise's hair, and I took that towel and I put it on and I patted you dry, squeezed it gently like a baby, took you to the chair, took the towel off your head, took this comb,
Yeah.
and I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry because it was so tangled. It was so tangled. And I said to myself, I started to panic. Your hair was really tangled, highlighted hair, long highlighted hair with bleach. Oh God, I can't breathe. Anyway, anxiety came over me. I felt anxiety shoot, and I had to comb you out. And how was I going to do this? So I started from the ends, working up slowly. And you were like, and I was like, oh God, this is really a nightmare. And I kept on saying to myself, what happened from that sink to this chair? 30 seconds. What happened? What happened? And I'll tell you what happened. You see this Evian water? Okay. What's the pH?
7.2.
Correct. Oh, correct. What's the pH of your hair? No one knows.
Well, I don't know currently,
point-
but isn't the right pH for the hair between 5 and 6?
The right pH for the hair is 4.5 to 5.5.
Okay.
So what happens is when tap water hits your hair, it immediately opens the cuticle and your hair tangles. And it's really the science of hair and scalp. So I've got some litmus paper here. I'm going to show you.
Okay, but we also clarify, because I know you have an answer to this. So we know these shower filters are very in vogue right now, but it doesn't change
I have
that
them.
much.
The shower filters are in and they're fantastic. The problem is they don't change the pH.
Yes.
No, there are filters that you could have on your sink. The Kangen water filter, which you can raise and lower the pH for fruit and for vegetables. But for your shower, nada.
Yeah.
Nada. Now, I have filters on my shower.
I do too.
We all do.
Yeah.
But the problem is with that, the pH doesn't change. It's still between 7 and 9, depending on where you live. And if you have hard water, it could be as high as 10. And the higher the pH, the more tangled your hair is. And the more your pores are loosened and the more compromised the biome of your skin and your scalp are. So if you're prone to scalp issues like dandruff or psoriasis or eczema on the skin, you are going to flare like crazy. So let me show you something. This is tap water from my sink here. Okay. I will dip this paper into this water.
This is so fun.
And we will see the pH is starting to go up. And you can see the green is 7 and the darker green is 8. So I'm going to show you it's starting to go darker.
Yeah.
See how it's going up toward now? So the higher the pH, the more the biome is compromised. So if you have skin disorders or you're immunocompromised, you need to do what I'm going to show you. So you can see how the pH is jumping. It's jumping. You need to be here in the yellow. You need to be in the yellow.
Yeah, we're like at an 8.
Okay.
It's looking like an 8.
It's going up to here, which is 7.5. It will go up to 8. But let me just show you quick. So this is an apple cider vinegar spray that I made in 1988. Oh, so old.
Yours?
Look, I want to show you something. Look, watch this. Watch this. You see how dark it's going?
Yeah.
Now it's jumping into the 8, 9.
Oh, yeah.
You see that?
Darker, yeah.
The higher the pH, that's tap water. It's what we bathe in. So watch. I want to show you something.
Wow.
Watch this. Now watch. You see how the pH went down? Now watch. I'm going to put the paper back in the water. And I'm going to soak it in the water. And the pH will jump back up again.
Yeah.
And this will continue happening. Now your shampoos and your conditioners are all 5.5, 4.5 to 5.5. Closes the cuticle so your color doesn't run out of your hair and fade. It closes the cuticle while you're shampooing. When you rinse it, your cuticle opens. Your conditioner, that closes the cuticle again because your cuticle is also 4.5. I mean, your conditioner is 4.5 to 5.5. See what's going green again? And then you rinse the conditioner and then the pH jumps up. And that's why your hair tangled going to my boss's chair to comb it out.
And then you spray the apple, the pH.
I keep this at my sink. I keep it in my shower. And you see how dark it's going again? Same piece of paper. Oh, there it goes down again.
Wow.
See, science doesn't lie. Here's what I realized. Many things lie in this world. Science doesn't.
Yeah.
Science will never let you down. So I started depending on science instead of hearsays and TikToks and all this nonsense. I started thinking, thank God for Chat GPT and thank God for AI. Thank God for the possibilities of fact checking things, the opportunities that we have now to find the truths out about all the information that's thrown at us on the superhighway, which, by the way, many of us get hit on the superhighway and end up on the side of the road dead and don't realize it. Do you know what I mean?
You know,
It's
but what I love about your products and your business is that you did not compromise your values to build a business.
I will never compromise. I will create the most purest, richest, wonderful products at responsible thresholds of active botanicals and in synergistic blends that deliver what you're looking for. I have 60 plus products in my range because people are the same, but not. I may be more oily, you may be more dry. But at the end of the day, if you pH your biome and rub it in, wet or dry, it will normalize your cell turnover, and it will normalize your oil production as well as the sweat glands. Everything will normalize on your skin because the pH of your skin is 4.5 to 5.5. Same as hair. It will detangle your hair in seconds, and your hair gets that youthful feeling back. It's funny that women all said to me how they lost the youthful feeling when they started coloring their hair. But the problem I know is from coloring is ammonia and peroxide are both caustic chemicals. We never think about that. Caustic means burning. So you're chemically burning the hair. One, you're using high alkaline water wherever you live. That's the way it is because guess what? Alkaline in your body's pH on the inside is 7.4, 7.6. It's tightly regulated by the immune system. And I'll tell you, on the inside, you will very rarely change between that mid-7. Those mid-7s. Inside, that's healthy pH. People are always trying to alkaline. Eating raw is really good for you, yes, but your body will normalize the pH. If you eat acid foods, high like fried food, dead food, overcooked food, that's where there's no nutrients, your body will still try to regulate the pH. It just has to work harder to do it. So I think eating healthy, I keep on saying this, it's from my childhood, but it really makes sense. You are what you eat from your head to your feet. It's a philosophy. Shampooing, conditioning, body care is it is not a soap and water function. You grew up in a soap and water world, Denise, so did I. My grandparents, my parents, we all got soap and water and fragrance or adolescences. All these commercials thrown at us with these women with gorgeous hair and hair extensions thrown at us they were all fake. They were all just created to market to us with soap and water and fragrance. And every woman that sat in my chair, when I stood up to do her hair and I said, can I ask you some questions? Sure. What's the reason why you buy your product? I love the way it smells. Does it do anything for you?
Yeah.
No. Nothing at all? Nope. Just love the way it smells. Really? What else? Why else do you love the way it looks? Oh, in your shower? Oh, I love it when I look at it in the shower. It looks so good. I said, but it doesn't do anything. No, it's nothing. I said, so you need something that smells great, that does something, and that looks good in your shower? Yeah, that would be great, but it doesn't exist. So I decided to start interviewing chemists. I went and started finding chemists and interviewing them because my journey is different than anyone else. L'Oreal's not on my journey. The corporations are not on my journey. Corporations make soap and water and fragrance. It has the lowest common denominator. Water comes from the earth. It's natural. It's cheap. How much is your water bill every month? Do you have a water bill, Denise?
It's included in my.
Anything? Okay. I can tell you right now, the reason why it's included is because it's pennies. Water bill can run $30 a month for the whole month. So if you take an 8-ounce bottle of shampoo and you put 7 ounces of water and an ounce of cleanser, and you put some fragrance, a few drops of concentrated fragrance, put a drop of panthenol in it, you've got a shampoo. And every shampoo, every advertisement, they go, it's got panthenol, vitamin B5. Oh my God, ever. I'm like, stop it with the nonsense already. Can someone build real products for humans? No one did it. So I decided to set off on that journey of doing it myself. I went to the public library in West Hollywood, California. And I started looking up books on skin disorders of the scalp, botanicals, kitchen cosmetology. I started buying all the ingredients after work, taking them home, experimenting in my kitchen, creating masks of quinoa and kale and baking soda. And I wrote a book called Blended Beauty. I had my cosmetic chemist go to the food market with me, where all the private chefs in Beverly Hills shop. And because they have the best selection, we had Brazilian star fruit, we had everything. And we took one of everything and we researched each and every fruit and vegetable to understand what its healing properties were, what vitamins, what amino acids, papain in papaya, protein digesting enzyme. So it eats protein. Well, your skin, your dead cells, you put papain and bromelain from pineapple, mix it together, crush it up and throw it on your skin. It will eat all the dead cells right off. It's the best scrub in the world. And it's gentle. It's got sugar, natural sugars. So it's a natural alpha hydroxy acid. Please. Oh my God. Vitamins A and C. I mean, all of it. So I said, if we could just take these fruits and vegetables, sustain them, and we could suspend them, put them in bottles and create these blends with and using the baking soda for pH adjustment, everything, we could create an amazing product. And we did. And I continue to do. And I continue to innovate and change the world. And I use fruit concentrates instead of fragrances. And
I think this is really important. We live in a world where people are just white labeling products. They're marketing it to you a specific way. It's a celebrity.
Clean beauty, another big old bullshit thing. Oh, clean beauty. Every chemist is like these clean beauty nuts. You can't use preservative systems. This stuff there has microbes growing in them so fast you can't preserve. There's a responsibility in beauty to make sure that your end user, you, don't end up with a rash and end up with a dermatologist using antibiotics or antifungals or some. There's a responsibility here. You need to. This clean beauty movement has gone so into the danger zone, and every cosmetic chemist will tell you there's articles. Just get on the internet and start reading stories on chemists on clean beauty, the do's and don'ts, the pros and cons.
Yeah, well, I just really appreciate your lens because it's real ingredients, it's functional, it creates results, and you're showing us we don't have to be in this capitalist world and make concessions in how we build a product, and you can still be successful. And that's really what I want people to understand, is that it might be a little bit of a slower trajectory or a slower path for some people.
A lot slower. It's a lot slower.
But you can sleep.
Because you don't have the trillions of dollars in marketing money behind you like these corporations have. But you have a moral. You can sleep it. You create beautiful artful formulations, not pretty bottles that smell good. Yes, they smell good because they're artfully blended. Everything, I was also taught when you're blending, when you're working with natural extracts and oils, essential oils, carrier oils, if there's a conflict here, there's probably a conflict inside here. So you have to make sure that there's a synergy in what you're blending. Like things should make you swoon and move and ooh and ah and ah. You should, and also results should be aha. Instead of like, with a WTF, what's that? But putting pH spray on your hair, wet, squeezing it in, you can feel the cuticle closing shut. You feel the hair turning to silk. And then you take a comb, the comb just drops through your hair without any tension. I love to take women who have long highlighted hair like yourself. I like to do the process of shampoo, conditioning, pH, towel dry, and I hand you the comb and say, here, just do this piece for me, please. And then she goes, no. Start at the top and go down. They look at me like, are you crazy? And I go, just try it. And they said, thank you, Thility, to fact check information on the spot, because you can really call someone out on their bullshit quick. And whether you're on social media, hearing a bunch of craziness thrown at you, fact check it. I encourage the world to fact check me, fact check everything we're talking about. It's so important that you make sure that, science is your guide in life.
Yeah.
It has to be. If you want to look good forever, look, I'm working on it right now. I'm in my mid-60s.
Well, it does work. I've been, sliding because I've always had tangly hair even before I colored.
That's in the past.
No, it's in the past now. I get out of the shower. It's smooth and easy. And I will just say it feels thicker. I can see like my ends like from a week ago to now. Girl.
Yeah. Wait till you start getting to the oil treatments and everything else. But also my shampoos have nanomolecular lipids that actually feed lipids back into the hair. Hair eats oil. It eats sebum. That's what the hair doesn't eat really. But I just say it so it's easy for you to understand. Hair absorbs it. Hair is a dead byproduct. It's a sponge, basically. It's the same as leather. It's keratinized protein. And you know how leather, if you take a beautiful pair of leather shoes and you walk around, if a grease or grass gets on your shoe, it stains the leather. Well, hair is also porous, like it stains and it absorbs. Hair absorbs follicle. As it's growing out of the follicle, it's coated in your own natural sebum. But then You go and you get it colored and you put ammonium peroxide on it and it burns it and sizzles it and slowly takes that thick, plump, beautiful strand of hair and it prunes it. It shrinks it, shrinks the diameter, but it also is pulling out the natural lipids as well, along with the pigments, and then it repigments it, but your hair doesn't feel the same anymore. It's stiffer. It has lost its flexibility and its movement, its fluidity. And I wanted to put the fluidity back into hair. So I asked myself out loud, you pen in my pen, what does hair eat? Hair eats sebum. What is sebum? Well, it's natural oil from the body. Okay. Comes from the sebaceous gland within the follicle. Done. Great. So I need to make an oil treatment that simulates human sebum, because the oil treatments that are available to us are silicones in a bottle, like, hot oil treatment, blah, 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 that you buy in the market. It was all silicone with a drop of a silicone soluble oil, a drop literally, and fragrance. And you would take that little tube and break it open and put it on your hair, and your hair would feel good. But it was created a moisture barrier on the hair that wouldn't allow moisture to go in your hair, and your hair would literally be suffocating under a seal like this, like glass. Traditional silicones that work like glass. They coat and they feel silky smooth, but they create a moisture barrier that stops the moisture from going in. Whether it's natural oils that feed the hair or your natural sebum when you brush it out, natural bristles move the natural oils down the scalp. Now, I'm going to say this. Before you shampoo, I want you to try this. You see my brush?
Okay.
Who's that?
It's you.
That's me. See that? Don't I look like
What
a
does it say
tombstone?
at the top?
And look, a stroke of genius.
But of course. Okay. Yep.
This is made on a CO2 laser, and we have one here at the house. My better half happens to be a crazy inventor. And so he made this for me. And I love it too. But this brush, listen, when you mop a floor, this is just common sense. No trick questions. When you mop a floor, don't you sweep it first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise you get muddy streaks, right? Right. All right. So your scalp, out of sight, out of mind. I got the thick head of hair. I don't have to look at it. I don't think about it. I just do whatever. Guess what? Every woman says, my scalp is so oily, my ends are split. Every hairdresser hears this from every woman with long hair. And they're like, well, think about it. Hair grows 6 inches a year. And I want to hear some women go, mine's the microspore. Or other women go, mine doesn't grow at all. Whatever. 6 inches a year. Okay, look it up. Like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. Parties at the scalp. Where's the buffet? When you go to a restaurant, they get the buffet and you have to walk up to the table and, take food and put it on your plate. Okay, the buffet's at the scalp. So your hair is eating at the root. So after 1 year, if I called the root and I go, hey, what's going on? The root would be like, I'm doing great. It's so much food. It's a party over here. Then I go 6 inches 1 year later. What's going on? I go, I'm starting to get hungry. I can't reach the table anymore, but I'm okay. And then you go down another 6 inches. Now 2 years. You go, hey, what's going on? Well, I'm sorry. I'm really getting hungry. I'm so hungry. I'm starting to shrink. But I'm in 3 years. What's going on? I'm so hungry. I'm dying and I'm dismantling and I'm breaking and I'm splitting and it doesn't know what to feed me.
Wow.
And corporations don't want you to know, because as long as you have that problem, you'll keep on reaching for those bottles every 30
being
and
incentive.
replenish their bank accounts.
But what's crazy is
And
you're
I'm like-
still going to reach for the products anyways, because even if you solve the problem where you give your hair oil, right? Like, we're oiling my scalp now. As you said, blood is to the body what oil is to hair.
What oil is to the hair. It's what keeps your hair pliable, filled. Your hair, again, is keratinized protein. When you take a pair of shoes to the cobbler, the shoemaker, whatever you want to call it, when you take your burnt out pair of gorgeous Gucci or Prada or whatever they are shoes that you've worn all over town, you partied in them, you've gone to raves, you've danced in them for 3 days straight. Don't ask me what you were on when you did it, but you did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look down after you took them out of the box. One day they were pristine and
now they're
virgin
beat
and
up.
new. Now beaten to hell. And that leather, it's pretty beaten. But you take it to this person and they come back a week later, sometimes a month, and they look like new again. What did they do to that hide to bring it back to life? One is they cleaned it, and then they oiled it, and they use pigmented oil, and they usually use like an animal oil, because hide is a natural animal. It's from a cow. So, it's an animal. So they use a mink oil and they heavily pigment the oil. Like if it's cordovan, deep red, or if it's black or brown, they take that deep pigmented oil and at first they clean the leather. Same with hair. First we shampoo and then we put the conditioner. Sometimes you have color enhancing conditioners too, by the way, same idea. And then you put that oil on the hair, on the shoe, and they put it on heavy. And then they let it soak in. And then they take that shoe brush and they do this. And when you do this, you're moving the molecules very fast. And you know what happens when you do this with your hand?
Yeah.
It gets hot. Well, that's what happens when you do that. And then they take the cloth, that soft chamois cloth, then they do this. And then they move the molecules so fast that the oils in the hide start to melt and plump the leather and bring it back to life and restore the translucency and the usefulness and bounce back to the shoe, that movement, that pliability. So now it looks new. And they put it on the rack and stretch it out, the shoe. And then they put that new sole and that new finish on that heel. And then they call you and say, Denise, your shoes are done. Then you walk in and you go, wow, they look like new things. I'm going to wear them again. It's got a new life. Well, here is kind of the same, only you can't take them off. You can't take that hair off your head. You can cut it off. And many women do cut their hair off. And they say, oh my God, it was so damaged, I cut it off. I said, you didn't have to. All you had to do was learn how to feed it. You should trim your ends regularly anyway. But even if it's ever so slight, you can feel when your ends get gummy and sticky. I used to hear the hair-free wars. And I got it, believe me. As much as I wanted to keep it growing, those ends felt, and they used to tangle. My hair would comb out perfect, but the ends would have that stick. And I would be like, gotta get those ends off. And then it felt amazing after. So, yes, you need to treat your hair. It was a thought. It was a whole progression of thoughts and a journey in my mind of what hair eats and how to restore it and how to bring it back to life. After you've colored it, you flat ironed it at 450 degrees. You clamp those two metal plates on that poor piece of strand leather. 450. Sometimes you'd go easy and take it to 325. But if you touched it with your finger, you'd have a 3rd-degree burn. So anyway, think about what your hair can endure. And it's fascinating to me. And what other people don't realize is you know how your body's 98.6 degrees? Yeah, that's 100. So in your flat irons between like 250 and 450. So if at 450, you have 100, so you're about 30% of your flat iron. So you could wrap your hair around your finger and hold it there. Make sure your finger's warm. Wrap it around and hold it. And just go like that. Clamp your warm hand around it for just a few minutes. Then take it out and you'll have a beautiful ring.
Really?
I do it all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. Well, your hand's 100 degrees.
I know. I just I don't do like 450, but when I use a straightener, I use like 220, I think.
Yeah, that's still like, don't touch it with your hand, right? I mean, you'll have a burn. You'll have a burn for life. So hair can withstand a lot, but every time you clamp those plates on there, you burn the lipids out. I always think about this. Here's like a bank account. Okay, you put the lipids back in, then when you burn it with color or hot tools, you take them out. The problem is people just keep on taking them, take it out, till the hair just cracks and breaks. They go, my hair broke. Oh, I bleached it, my hair broke. Well, did you oil it before you bleached it? No. That's why it broke.
Right. You have to deposit back in, which
take out. It's the flow of life. You got to put it into take out. Put it into take out. It's the same with skin. You have to moisturize it. You have to keep it healthy. Then you go out, pollution attaches to you. You know how it goes. Have you ever gone to Paris and I
lived in,
Okay, then here, let me take you there. So I work in Paris. And when I work in Paris, in the beginning, I used to get into taxis and go from shop to shop and salon to salon. And I'd sit in traffic. Oh, God, sit there. And I was going crazy sitting in traffic. And I thought, there's the Valide bikes. Oh, I'm going to put a backpack on. I'm going to take that Valide bike and I'm going to go from station to station. Well, I was doing that and going by the Ritz one day. And I stopped at the red light and all the scooters, all the Vespas, and the traffic, and all I could smell was diesel fumes. But those people in those Vespas had scarves around their mouths. Right. And I was like, because I'll tell you why, because when I got back to my hotel room, when I washed my face, the water came off dark gray. Yep. And they realized, ew, that's on my hair too. My hair was down to here. So my hair, I took my hair, ooh. Then you know how you know when you have long hair? I used to live in Berlin. Hello. In Berlin, the party center of the universe. And I would be in raves. Don't ask. And I would come home and everyone was smoking.
Yeah, your hair
cigarettes and
smells like
doors.
smoke.
Eh.
So gross.
You know, all that oleo resin and the smoke was sticking on my hair. And we would get in the shower and shampoo it, but you didn't realize that oleo resin is an oil resin. And oil resin you can't wash off the hair. So under a microscope, you'll still see the residue.
Oh.
Even though it will smell clean from the conditioner and everything, you'll still see the residue of the resins on the hair. So I realized oil treatment breaks down resins. So I created something called rejuvenating oil, and you put it on the hair, dry and wash. Oil and water don't mix. Don't put water. Put it on dry and wash schwitzy, dirty hair. Whether you worked out, whether you rode your bike across the universe, whether you partied and danced in a club for 3 solid days, whatever you did, you put the oil on the hair, dry and wash. You massage it through, put it on heavy and generous. Be kind to your hair. An oil bath is what it needs. Take that blow dryer and heat it up. Get it hot oil treatment. Remember, if your hair could take 225 and 450, you believe you got a flat a blow dryer and some hot oil. First of all, as long as you can hold it, it's not too hot. Heat it, massage it in a downward direction, in the direction of the cuticle layer. And then put it up and watch some TV and relax, chill, watch a movie, go shopping at the store, put some sunglasses with your hair oil, put a scarf on your head if you want. Everyone's doing the Kennedy thing right now. Go ahead, put that scarf on. So anyway, put the sunglasses if you want to be Jackie up, whatever you want. Just go do your thing, relax. Some women say they take the kids to soccer. Some women say they fly to New York or London with oil in their hair. Yeah, I mean, it can fit into your lifestyle. Even if it's a Sunday night and you're watching movies or your favorite TV show, throw that oil all over your hair, get it in there. Oil treatment is amazing for the hair if it's formulated properly. Well, not all oils are created equal. Some oils will not come out of your hair for days if they're so thick and heavy. That's why I started honing in on natural sebum and wanting to recreate natural sebum, but not from from plants, nuts, and flowers. So I started to work with plant oils and feeling them, like the viscosity and taking your own scalp and touching my clients' scalps and realizing that we all produce sebum, and our sebum, we have a lot in common, but we're all different in our own little way.
Yeah.
But and sebum is the hair's food. And when your hair is thick and plump at the root, it is thick. But as you go down the hair shaft, the diameter shrinks, and your ends eventually split. So I thought, if I can bring the diameter back to the mid shaft and the ends, I can make the hair feel thicker. I can stop the ends from splitting, or at least help stop the ends from splitting, but strengthen the hair against further damage from environment, from user error, from a lot of things, from just life in general. So oil treatment, you can lay at a beach with it. Why not? It repels water. You can swim in the water. You can swim in the pool. That way the chlorine bleach doesn't absorb into the hair. The salt water doesn't absorb into the hair. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to doing a treatment, just finding the right opportunity to fit it into your life. But oil and water don't mix. How do you get it out of the hair? Yeah. You take a Clarify shampoo. You used a lot of oil, so you're probably going to use a lot of shampoo. You're going to squeeze it into your hand, go like this. Just put it on top of that oil like that. Then you're going to get in that shower, add a little water, and start to lather it up. Add water, lather, add water, lather. So I started making treatment shampoos, Denise. Shampoos that stimulate your follicle, that help your follicle grow thicker, stronger, healthier. And using active levels of pure botanicals like peppermint, eucalyptus, rosemary, which is a hot number right now. But even though I've been using it for like the last...
Well, all your products smell incredible.
Like what they're made out of. Everyone said to me, you have so many scents in your line. It's what it's made out of.
Yeah.
Companies that use soap and water and fragrance and silicones, all they do is just put the same fragrance in. So everything, if your shampoo and your conditioner smell the same and everything smells the same, even my shampoos and conditioners, there's a nuance of difference between them because conditioners have a certain odor, the base of them have a certain odor to them than cleanser does. So whether it's the sulfate-free cleanser that has sulfate-free cleansers have horrible odors. Really, yeah. I mean, when you smell them, just the sulfate-free cleanser alone, you're like, SLS or SLES doesn't smell like that.
Like the debunking, I find the more educated I am, the more vigilant I become. So now that I know this is how hair works, it becomes a part of my routine. The same way like my skin, I learned about skin and then I changed my skincare routine. because
Right.
it's power. The information is power.
Knowledge is power. But not only that, you have to remember this. Okay. I figured this out very young. I started when I was 15. I went to the Clinique Conjure. I got some M lotion, started using it. But, girl, I'm 61. Do you really think M lotion's going to work on my 61-year-old face? I've got a dermatologist, and we create amazing product, and we use it on our skin, and it's wonderful. There's also many good dermatological brands for people who are over 40 that up their game. You need to change your game. I always say a woman doesn't put her makeup on the same way she did when she got into mommy's makeup when she was 7.
Yep.
When the first time you got into mommy's makeup and she didn't know, and you like painted it all over your face, and you probably look like a bloodbath.
Yeah.
You
Wasn't
know,
good.
that came in and said, then wipe your face off with a cloth and then cried over her shrine of makeup and cleaned it all up, put it back together. Then, please, I've heard all the stories. But, when you get better, when you're young, you learn how to paint your eye.
Yeah.
When you're 10, or 20, then by the time you're 30, you're a pro at doing it. You could do it in the car driving at a red light, put the visor down. Some women just do it while they're driving, putting on mascara. You just learn. It's like driving a car. Life is like driving a car. If you're really good at it, you get to really, you'll be a race car driver in no time at all, whether it's putting on your makeup.
You refine the methodology.
Yeah. Well, with age brings wisdom, and with the wisdom brings experience.
Yeah. Well, what I love so much about you and your journey is that you're living in your genius. It's evident that you're so passionate about what you do. Your work is of service, which is a big thing about purpose, is
Love
of
it.
service.
What are we here for? I wasn't born a king or a queen. I was born as a worker, and I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with being a humble worker and a servant in society, because you got to give back. You're not here just to be a lump. You got to find your way of giving. And whether you're working in a soup kitchen on the line, helping people, I don't know, whatever it is. But for me, my way of giving is to help people with their skin problems and their scalp problems. And not just, it started with hair problems for like big megastars, and scalp problems also for megastars too.
My personal philosophy is that what we're here to do as humans is to be of service, and we have a unique genius to give, not only to support ourselves in our purpose, but it has to be bigger than you. And so
Yeah.
I think you've done that, you've hacked that. And then through that, life has aided you in building this. And you told me a story about originally you were just making it for your clients, and then your clients called up Neiman Marcus and was
The Neiman Marcus. Yeah. And please remember the day, there was a day we had answering machines.
Yeah, I do.
So there was those days. That's how long ago it was. I got a phone call. Hi, is this Philip B? And I said, yeah. And he goes, this is John Favreau, the DMM of Neiman Marcus. And I said, oh, hi, how are you? And he goes, I'm fine. He goes, your client, Susan, famous, and lives next door to me. And she gave me this bag of product you make. And I have to tell you, he said, I use that product. And I came to work this morning, and my secretary said, John, what did you do to your hair? Did you color it? It's so shiny and beautiful. And he goes, no, all I did was use these products that my neighbor left on my door. Because I had to call this man and ask him to be in my stores. He said, so, do you want to be in my stores? And I was like, how many stores do you have? And he goes, 20. And I said, listen, John, I said, I'm making it in the kitchen. And I said, and I got Paula Abdul's coming over and filling the bottles with me. And I can't supply 27 store size. And he goes, how about my top 3? Let's start you with my top 3. And I said, well, where are the top 3? And he goes, Beverly Hills, Houston, and Dallas. And I said, sure, let's start there and we'll try.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said, what do I have to do? He goes, come with me. I said, okay. So I hung up and I called the airline. I booked a ticket to Dallas, never been. And I launched at Neiman's. I was launched by Fred Siegel in Los Angeles back in its heyday, and by Neiman Marcus in its heyday. And then Barney's came into my life and took me in. And then the women, here's what I didn't realize. The Neiman Marcus woman, she goes to the salon. She doesn't shampoo her own hair. She goes to the salon.
Right.
And I'm like, you do? So you don't, even though you buy shampoo, you don't use it? No, not really, because I go to the salon. And then what they don't realize is the salon's getting a lot of free bath bar because the owner doesn't want to spend money on you, because you have 34 cents on every time. Every woman that walks through the door could be 34 or 40 cents worth of product. The less he spends on you, the more he puts in his pocket, or she. So what they do is these companies, these huge corporations say to them, they say, if you buy our brand, we will supply these giant pump bottles and you will put them for no charge to you. And they go, I'll take it because it's free. And then you're using soap and water and fragrance at the salon, putting silicone in your hair and stuff, and they're blowing you out. And that's the secret of the hair salon. And so for me, I had to launch with retail because no salons would buy a small brand that wasn't giving away free product. And now I'm making product from really expensive raw materials because I'm using medical grade extracts, not cosmetic grade. That's another lesson I learned here. Medical grade extracts are up to 99% pure. Cosmetic grade is 80% diluted with propylene glycol. All cosmetics use cosmetic grade. Propylene glycol is an inert cut. It's a petroleum derivative. It's a cheap inert cut, and that's how you make the product cheaper. And that's why it costs 30 cents to make an 8-ounce bottle of shampoo. Water comes from the earth. It's natural and organic. Oh my God, I got an organic shampoo. I'm using soap. Soaps from what? Coconut. All soaps from coconut. No, soap doesn't come from animal. It was vegan. Oh my God, this scam game has been going on in my industry. Freaking lie, a hell of a lie going on. And I said, someone's going to care about people. So I started making caring product. And everyone said to me, you're going to go out of business. All my manufacturers, everyone, you're going to go out of business. No one makes expensive product like this. Philip, no one makes it. And I said, you know something? Watch me. I said, the world is waiting for something real. Waiting.
But this is also the other piece, which is that you listen to yourself and your compass. Yep. You didn't let people's opinions sway you from your mission. And this is really of people that are successful and they are living their truth and purpose. The universe aids you in that, I believe. And you had all these touchstones of support and divine intervention.
It said, live your authentic self and stay on course. And don't let anyone tell you that you're never going to be successful. I've been told I was going out of business. I'm never going to be successful. I was told by some of the most famous people in this world that I wasn't going to make it. But you know what?
Here we are.
Let's let the universe decide. I said, have you tried it? One lady said to me, you have such expensive shampoo. Laugh about this. Did you try it? She said, no. I said, well, why don't you try it? And then she came back. She goes, it was amazing.
It is amazing. Just the proof is the product.
Well, you realize you have millions of nerve endings in the scalp, and where does your brain live? In the house of your head. And what contacts your brain? Your nerve endings.
Yeah.
And you know what happens if you put too much, something cold too hot in your mouth? You go,
yeah.
That's your nerves. So everything's touching you in either a beautiful, pleasant way, like with a massage, and you feel so good, or like something shocking or too hot. But your scalp, you have millions of nerve endings. The scalp's the thickest skin on the body next to the soles on the bottom of the feet. Your follicles are deeply rooted. Now, and there's millions of nerve endings. There's large sebaceous glands for the large oil glands producing a lot of sebum. So your scalp's the oiliest part of your body. These are things people don't realize. You have cell turnover. Now, when a woman doesn't shampoo for 3 days and 4 days, she gets follicle congestion, we call it. Follicle congestion and the follicles are referred to in dermatology as the follicle unit. So when the follicle unit becomes congested, the hair starts shrinking and shrinking. The follicle gets unhealthy. And it's almost like congestion in your lungs when you can't get air in. When you congest the follicle from lack of cleansing, what happens is your follicle becomes clogged. And the hair starts shrinking. It grows and shrinks, and the follicle starts to wither away inside. And many women, I hear it all the time, I'm losing my hair. In India, they always say hair loss. I go, well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm putting oil on my scalp. And how long do you leave it? For a week. I'm like, so, your scalp's an organ, and the cells have to turn over. You need to cleanse it. You need to keep a balance of everything. And also, before you shampoo, take that brush and sweep that floor. Brush it off. You stimulate cell turnover. You move the natural oil off the scalp and down the hair shaft, feeding and strengthening the hair with lipids that are from your own scalp. Your own natural hair's food is the sebum. Brush it through. Natural bristles are carrier bristles. Women always think, guys, show me your hairbrush, and they take out a plastic bristle.
Well, so now I have 2 hot questions because my hair, well, now that you've solved my tangle problem, I was using a tangle teaser. Because my hair was...
Yeah, that's good for just combing it out fast. That's all. But it doesn't move your natural oil.
So I want the natural bristles.
Nylon, let me explain. Plastic and nylon bristles. You see those bristles, the white ones? Those are crystal nylon. Those are detangling only, period. The black bristles are natural hair bristle. Sorry, Stella McCartney, who I had an argument with. She goes, the board needed those bristles more than you did for that brush. And I go, girl, as I'm watching her get blow dried by my friend with a boar bristle brush, And I'm like, you can live in your own fantasy all you want. You are living in a fantasy, Stella McCartney. He goes, that brush that person's using on you is made of boar bristle. Because if they used a plastic bristle on your hair, it would not be that shiny and beautiful.
Okay, so good to know.
Not will pick up your natural fats. That's why you can DNA test a natural bristle, and you can tell 10 women who owns which brush.
Wow. Okay. Now, this may be the most important question of the hour is when I get my hair blown out and I want the blow dry to last for like 4 days, if I'm congesting my follicle, what am I doing to keep that hair for 4 days?
Before you shampoo, you should brush it out with a natural bristle. If you have really thick hair like me, then you want to do a combination nylon boar bristle. If you have finer hair, use an all boar bristle. Before you get in that shower and wet that hair, oil and water do not mix. Take that natural bristle brush and start brushing up and move against gravity's pulling us down. Push it up. Move the natural oils off the scalp down the hair shaft. You're also releasing the dead cells. You're sweeping the scalp before you cleanse it, basically. Okay. Sweeping, you're stimulating cell turnover. You're stimulating follicle action. You're allowing the follicle unit to go. You're literally lifting away debris, and you're moving the natural oils into the hair. Now, Denise, next time I see you, I'm going to take this brush, and I'm just going to do this one time. And you're going to go like this. You go, oh my God, you won't believe the difference in your hair texture immediately. How it flattens the cuticle, moves the natural oil, and moisturizes the hair all in a snap. Everything takes seconds that I talk about. It doesn't take minutes. It's seconds. You invest a few extra seconds and change your routine around, and all of a sudden it's like harmony and flow.
Okay, so to keep the blow dry for 4 days, you're just saying I need to go sweep up and that.
Keep up. Then use a natural bristle brush. I have round natural bristles. I'm using a nice natural nylon boar bristle combination. The boar bristle detangles, but it also guides the brush in to lock it in to the boar bristles, the natural bristles, and then you polish the cuticle downward motion. Are you blowing your own hair dry?
Sometimes.
Well, they're probably. The more stuff they put on it, the more silicone-based stuff that they put on it, the more pollution grabs to it, by the way, because it's sticky. And even if it feels slick to you.
Well, now I'm thinking I'm just going to bring my products to the salon.
Yeah. If you do, just have them use it. And they always like to put their own stuff into the mix because they think it's better. But they don't realize it's because they've never experienced it. If you've never had the best, you don't know what you're missing. Do you know what I mean?
I told my mother, I said, let me just tell you, I didn't know I was missing luxury hair care in my life. I was like, right. I can't go back.
And people think luxury. Also, luxury is such an abused word. This is the craziest thing. All these brands are claiming luxury now, but they're not. They're just fragrances smell better. The bottles are prettier. Some bottles look like Versace knockoffs that look like, but they belong in bordellos, in my opinion. But women love, they're beautiful. I'm like, not really. What's that bottle going to do for you? End up in your trash bin anyway.
Yeah.
The less is more. I use recycled packaging because when I started Philippi in 1991, I launched. I was the only company that used recycled packaging. There was one packaging company in the whole United States that produced recycled. No one wanted it. No one even knew what it was. Yeah. But I knew. I was looking for sustainability. I was looking for pure concentrated extracts at responsible dosing levels. Thinking about it like a doctor and a scientist and working with a female chemist who understood women's dreams and women's wants and women's desires. Also understanding that when your hair turns gray, for instance, when you lose that pigment in the hair, you also lose a molecule of moisture because pigment is a 3-sided molecule. It's moisture, color, color. So when the melanocyte shuts off and you lose the melanin, you also lose that moisture. And that's why gray hair becomes wiry and coarse. And it also becomes a little bit harder to pigment when you color. So that means you have to bump up the ammonia and bump down the peroxide. And that will open the cuticle because the cuticle is resistant to color.
Wow.
There's a lot of science with hair. This is true. There's a lot of science with skin. There's science in life. There's science to washing your clothes even. But if you're not into that science, you probably don't know. You just use the products that you like the smell of usually, or pretty.
I love learning about this. Is why I wanted you to come on, because I love what you're modeling in your business, what you've pioneered. I think is such a blueprint for so many people that might want to play in these spaces, but feel like they have to compromise their values to do so.
Just hold on to the passions. The only thing that we have that persuades people is our passion.
Yeah.
If you find something that lights your fire, it feels so good. Not only will you sleep good every night, but every day feels wonderful.
Right. You would love the process of what you're doing. And that's what everyone can hear from this past hour is like how much you love what you do and how much you know about it.
I love when they do.
Yeah, you do. But magnetic. Like, I love learning from you because you love it so much.
And not only that, I lived it and I wanted to experience it myself. How do you build product without knowing you're living it yourself? You can't just keep on asking men and women with long hair, how does it feel? How did that work? So I wanted to create it myself. I wanted to start creating product and I wanted to live it for myself. I keratin straightened my hair when it was long. I literally did it all. Every woman would say, what do I use for my keratin straightened hair? And so I went and I keratin straightened my hair.
Amazing.
And then it started to break immediately after, even though they did a fantastic job. But, you know, your hair is so compromised from those chemicals. So I dumped oil treatment. They said, don't put anything on it for 3 days. But I had oil treatment on my hair that night. I dumped it on and I oil bathed. I gave my hair an oil bath. And I did my shampoo, my conditioner, my pH spray the next day. I slept in it. And I have to tell you, I had hair that people would come up to me on the street and say, can I touch your hair? It looks amazing. Like, really? Have you ever had someone come up to you on the street and say, can I just touch it? It feels so good.
No, I don't think
Like,
I've ever
I
had
can't
that.
hold it. Yeah, I've had it plenty. I'm trying to navigate this phone so I can show you just a fun
Well,
picture of,
maybe that's in the next 6 months that can happen for me.
you know what? I have to see when I'm back in town. And I would like to actually just take you on a little bit of a 1-hour hair journey where I get my hands on your hair and just go through a series of
I would
products
love
with
that.
you. And I want to oil your hair and scalp. I want to, my oil treatments are plant-based, so there's smaller molecules than animals. So you massage it into your animal-based sebum. It solubilizes with your sebum and it moves it all down the hair shaft. It lightens your scalp load, the molecular load of your scalp. So your neck feels so light, like the weight of your head changes and the hair starts to move and get young again. The colors, highlights go higher, lowlights go lower. Listen, you can't get in vogue unless you wow them.
Yeah.
You really can't. I mean, you could buy your way into everything, but well, listen,
Especially 1991 Vogue. Let's be very clear. Vogue 30.
yeah, they for something that wow their readers, you know, that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
I'm always looking to wow myself because then I wanted to use it on my clients, and when they go wow, it's all about wow factor.
Yeah.
When you put on a dress and you look in the mirror, you look wow. Don't you feel like 100 times, 1,000 times better?
Yeah. I want you to know that I feel the most myself when the hair is done, the face is beat, and the outfit is on point.
But can I say this? Do you notice that when you have that trifecta going on of feeling good, and don't you feel the hormones flow? You start to exude.
It's magnetism.
It's the magnetism
feeling
that you
yourself.
create, the synergy of what you create for you.
Yeah.
It's incredible how you feel when you are on point with your clothes, your hair, your nails, your handbag. Like when a woman's on point, she can walk a red carpet standing tall, moving elegant, radiant, like literally. And what every woman, every day, listen, everything is a red carpet for you. It doesn't have to be a premiere.
see?
Every day you walk out your front door, think of it. You're walking that red carpet, honey. You want to be on point. Even when you go to the market, like how many times have you just thrown on a pair of sweats and a junky t-shirt and gone to the market and run into everyone that you know?
Most times.
Like the whole guy you ever met, whatever. All of a sudden it's like, you know, I remember Faye Dunaway, this actress years ago. Every time she left her house, she had a full face of makeup, gorgeous hair, and an amazing outfit. Because she always said, you don't know who you're going to run into.
It's true. You don't know who you're going to meet. And how I
Nope.
met you, case in point.
Yeah, on the street carrying a little Hong Kong cutie
Yeah.
bag. And I was like, that bag is so cute. I got to talk to that girl. And then, you know, and that was it. Because, I'm going to Hong Kong. I'm going to China. China has embraced me in such a beautiful way. It's just incredible because, to them, health is wealth. And they're looking for healthy product and they love what I make. And Americans, we're just clouded by corporations throwing everything at us, advertising, fake burgers on TV. My friend was a food stylist and we were watching a Thanksgiving commercial and he starts laughing. He goes, that turkey's pumped up with salmonella. And I said, what? And he goes, I did that commercial. He said, we based it with brown shoe polish and Worcestershire sauce and I cooked it with a heat gun and stuffed it with dry ice. Yeah. And there was a family around the table going, there was all like Thanksgiving at blah, blah, blah market. And it was all fake.
All
And he did all the commercials. And he said to me, all of it is fake. He said, everything you see on TV is just, all the food is fake food. Here I am with carrots and straight.
Everyone, look, fab.
So That was probably 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. 12 years ago. Here I am the day I did it. I did it, and that was the night outside the
We'll include these
incent-
in the Instagram so people can, if they're listening and not watching, they'll get to see it.
You see, I literally lived gorgeous, shiny, keratin straightened hair, and people did come up to me everywhere. I did an event in Germany once, and everyone wanted to touch my hair because my hair was pretty amazing, I have to say. And when I was leaving the event, the security guard said to me, "Can I touch your hair too?" And I said, "Sure." I do have phenomenal hair, as you can see by the density and the thickness of it. So you can only it's long. I was in Mykonos, and my hair, it was so hot on the beach, and I had my hair in a ponytail, and all these guys had this haircut. And I was like, I said to my other half, I want that haircut. And he says, "Seriously?" And I said, "Yeah." And I went up to the guy and I said, "Who cut your hair?" And he goes, "Oh, Saturday." So blah, 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 shop. Okay, thanks. Give me the number. So I called, made an appointment, and went in, did it. As soon as I came out, everyone was like, "Wow, you look 10 years younger." And this is something I realized, like I talked about how you change your regime every 10 years, you should up your game. Here, just because for men especially, I think with long hair, we always look like really burnt out hippies. So there is a point where you can look pretty hot and handsome as an older guy. You don't have to look like a burnt out hippie with long, gray, crazy hair. And I think women look better when they color their hair. When men color their hair, it looks horrible, I think. So I said I would never color my hair. I would never, I did bleach my hair and did things to it when I was younger. People could, and I needed to experiment to understand how to fix the bleach damage. And all that. And also I was swimming in a pool using chlorine would bleach my toner out of my hair. I mean, the things I did. And of course, me with burnt out, bleached hair, oil treating it and getting it back to normal. But one of those moments, I didn't do my oil treatment. I walked out, whoever I ran into, half of Hollywood, and I wanted to cry because I was like, "Oh my God, that's horrible."
Well,
Yeah.
okay. So where can everyone find you?
Philip.com. Google me. Google me. Web search me. Amazon, Harrods in London. Department stores in America are all bankrupt anyway, so forget that. America's done web shopping.
PhilipB.com, the safest.
PhilipB.com with one L, PhilipB.com.
And I will say, if you are curious, it's worth the investment. He walked me through everything, and I can just say my hair's different.
Every woman says in their hairdresser notices it. Like women I was calling, they go, "My hairdresser noticed how strong my hair was. I can't believe it." And I used to be getting these calls from women from all over the world. I still do. Also, my husband can't stop spooning me in bed, smelling my hair. I learned how to bury oleosomes into hair. Oleosomes, it's a nanomolecular delivery system from safflower seeds, 100% natural, cold pressed. What they do is they're small cells that encapsulate actives like amino acids or unstable actives like vitamin C for skincare. And they use it in skincare. So I adapted it into hair care, and I'm the first one to do this. And then they also encapsulate fragrance. So they bury it into the hair so your hair stays scented for like up to a week. So it's incredible. So husbands are spooning wives.
If there's ever been a motivation, that might be it.
Even when you wake up in the morning, when I used to have long hair, I'd sleep with a ponytail, and I would roll all over that bed, and I'd get up, my hair was half in my face. And if I went to a rave that night, I was like, "Oh, oh. And you wake up with this because your hair smelled like cigarettes. And I realized I needed to find ways to fragrance my hair. Also, stinky flights, flying New York, LA every weekend. Oh my God. When someone got sick on that plane and they stuffed us on that thing and we'd all look at each other and we'd be like, "Oh my God, we could die." Like we'd have to wrap things around our face while we flew just to not smell that horrible airplane. But our hair would stink from it. Hair absorbs molecules and pollution, odors, and the more damaged your hair is slightly negatively charged. But when your hair is really damaged, it goes like triple negative. And so you want it to go positive. So conditioners are positively charged. Your hair conducts electricity. Like that's why you get static electricity. Right. When your hair is super, super negative, it pulls electricity. So it goes, and so you put conditioner, if you have static electricity, take a dab of conditioner, just a dab, rub it in and just do this, pull it through, and it immediately shorts it right out because it lays a positive charge on it, which shorts out the negative charge.
I mean, This was so much fun for me. Thank you so much for doing this.
Denise, thanks for asking me. I'm so happy I saw that Hong Kong bag and stopped you on the street.
Me too. It just goes to show too, I just want to clarify this because I talk about living in alignment a lot on this podcast. And like, this is what
Yeah.
happens is you become a magnetic pull to people that share your values. And so when I met you, it was just an echo that I'm doing things right because we share so much the same philosophy about life and business.
Yeah.
And it's just such a blessing to see someone doing it at such a high level.
You know, I was doing it out of my kitchen in my rented house. And that's where I started. When I moved here, I had $40 in my pocket and I bought a one-way ticket and slept on a friend's sofa and started doing hair. And little by little, I grew my reputation. And through that experience of working with people and hearing their problems and wanting to help them and realizing that we had nothing but garbage on the shelves from corporations, it was time to start stepping in. Well, I did get frustrated and say to one of my clients one day, I'm going to make it myself. I have searched the world. I have looked. I've been lucky enough to work on movie sets. Movies have taken me around the world. I was lucky enough to be able to experience the world, a little bit of it at that time, but enough to know that it's all the same globally. And when I went to Japan the first time, I was so excited to experience Japanese hair care.
Wow.
It's all the today. It's soap and water and fragrance. No one's putting, your nose knows when it's real. So if you can smell, I remember in the old days, we had rosemary mint from a very popular company that everyone was worshiping this company in America. And then I put it on and I waited and there was no sensation. I said, in a world of shit, mediocre looks amazing.
Sure.
But someone needs to fucking make awesome.
Yeah.
Someone needs to fucking put that 1-2 in right in your shower in the morning where we make your brain go, whoa, wow.
Right.
And so I did it first and then I took it to work and everyone said, wow. And that's when I realized I was detonating people and I was winning them. I win my clients. I don't buy them. L'Oreal buys you. Corporations buy you. Advertising. That buys you. Burgers that, with half-naked women eating burgers. That buys you. Things like that. Sex sells. We all know that. But, I didn't want to buy through. I never advertised. I don't. Word of mouth. That's the slow sell. The word of mouth. But the back of my website, if you look at the back of my website, you see how people heard about me. Amazing. Mother, brother, sister, best friend, Vogue, things like that.
We just don't need any more companies. Like every time someone starts a business, I'm like, it's so apparent when they're starting it to make money and they're not solving a real problem.
That's right. Many people started to, well, you know what? A client once said to me, my husband wants to come and see you. He's an investment banker. So I said, sure. So I'm giving him a haircut and he said, so what's your exit strategy? And I said to him, what's an exit strategy? And he said, you don't have an exit strategy? And I said, I don't know what it is. And he said, everyone starts a business with an exit strategy, Philip. And I said, what is it? And he said, it's the day you're going to sell. What's your goal? What are you working towards? And I said, I didn't start this to sell it. I said, I started to have something noble to do with my life. I said, life's boring. You make your own excitement in this world. If you don't do things every day that make you feel great, you're going to die. You need to keep on growing and going and moving and grooving and dancing through life. Who wants to walk through life? You want to dance through this life.
That's it. At the disco, that is your scalp.
Yeah, your scalp's the disco. And hey, let me tell you, if life's the disco, you should be the disco ball.
Facts.
Let me tell you, and everyone could be dancing around you. And if they're not, you got to sync it up. You got to get your fashion in place. Invest in yourself. Invest in time and energy, whether it is a ritual in the shower. Everyone has a ritual with their makeup and a ritual with their skincare and even with your feet and your nails. But what do you do for your scalp? Soap and water and fragrance. They just sell it to you like crazy. I like the shape of the bottle. It looks like Versace.
Not anymore.
Anymore. I know. No. I make elegant packaging.
No, I love it.
And I'll tell you, look, put it on, tighten that. My chicken neck, I got to tighten that shit up. Rub it in. Oh, look. Come on.
Okay. Love you. This is so fun.
And
I can't wait for everyone to watch this.
I can't wait to. Thanks, Denise. I love this. This is so much fun. We have to do part 2.
We do.